Hey guys, look at the camera. Say hi.
Hi.
It's live.
She's gonna do your stick.
Are we going?
Yeah, you're live.
Oh, hi. Are you guys ready to decorate? I thought it would be too tall. All right, grab your boxes and let's get going. God, he's so funny. Okay. All right, hi guys. This is Danay with DB Sweet Life. We're about to start our boxes with you, the decorating box. What? Anyways, we've got some kiddos here to help us decorate. If they have any questions, they can ask me. So then that way, if you guys are having the same questions, hopefully we can get them answered. If not, go ahead and just shoot us a question on there and we'll answer it for you. All right, sounds good.
We're going to give it a couple more minutes for everyone to join.
Sounds good. Thanks, love. By the way, that's Andy behind the camera. He's helping us film today. So let us know how the volume is because I think our volume was a little off earlier, but I think we have it fixed. All right, are you guys ready? You excited?
Yeah.
Should we introduce ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and start?
I'm Robbie.
And what grade are you in?
7.
And you're from Erie, right? You're in Erie? Yep.
My name is Wesley. I am in 5th, and I'm from Erie.
And this is actually my oldest son. He's my 10-year-old.
I am Brooklyn, and I am in 5th grade, and I live in Erie.
And then we have someone else who just showed up.
Perfect
Just go ahead and tell us
timing.
your name and how old are you?
Okay, I'm Leah, I'm 12.
And she's 12. So this should be fun. Leah, do you want to go put your bag of stuff over there? That way you have space to put your cookies. All right, how's the time looking?
Looking fine. We have a couple people on live right now. Maybe give it one more minute. Why don't you start by showing everyone what's in the box?
Okay. All right, so before we get going, a couple things that you probably want to have with you as we're decorating. You're going to want to have a pair of scissors. You're going to want to grab a paper towel. You can have it damp or you can have it dry, whatever you might want. I like having it damp because the royal icing just gets really crusty on your hands when you're decorating. And then the dry one because then you can dry them. And then also if you have more than one person decorating, you can also use toothpicks instead of the needle that we have in the kit. So if you want some extra toothpicks, you can put that near you. So if you want to grab it. Another thing that you might want to grab is just something to decorate on. So I just have my little cake boards that I usually use and they decorate on. And then we have some parchment paper that we're going to set our cookies on to dry as we're decorating other cookies. So this is where like our drying cookies are going, and this is where we're going to use to decorate on. Okay? All right, let's open our boxes. Okay, so in these boxes, you'll find all the decorating stuff that you need to make the Halloween sugar cookies. So in this box, we have 8 cookies. We've got these cookies, and then we've got these ones. Okay, so you should have 8 total. And then when the camera's over here, you're going to be able to have a closer up view of what the cookies are, and then that way you'll know, like this cookie, it's kind of an odd shape, but it's a cauldron. Okay, that's what that should be. And then this one with the pointed ears, that's going to be a black cat. The square one's going to be our Frankenstein. And then we have a cupcake shape. And then one, I call these my plaque cookies, but that's going to be our plaque. And then we have a pumpkin. And then we have 2 circles. And on one circle, we're going to do a mummy. And on the other circle, we're going to do a cobweb. Okay? All right. Okay, love, do you want to bring the camera over here, or should we give it a few more minutes?
Let's give it, as we give it a few more minutes, let's talk about the
Oh, we still have
frosting
more
that
stuff.
we
Yeah,
have.
that's right. Forgot about this stuff. Okay, so we have 4 different colors of frostings in our bag. Okay, and they've been sitting in there probably for a couple days now. So what you want to do with all your bags before you decide to open them, this little paper stuff is getting everywhere, is you want to kind of just squish it around, mix those frostings together so that, because a little bit of separation happens with royal icing. So you just want to make sure that it's all nice and mixed in. That way when you go to use your royal icing, it's not going to be all runny in one spot. Okay, so go ahead and squish up those bags. We've got orange. Then we've got green, and just make sure, these are just have tape on them, so be careful. So always make sure that your frosting's kind of below your hand, so you're not going to accidentally squish it up. So I'm going to squish these. And you can tell where the separation occurs when you look at the bags. So some might need more, some might need less. I think the white one's probably the one that separates the most, from what I've seen. Okay, and then another thing that we're going to find in our boxes are going to be our decorating needles. Okay, and these are quite sharp. They will give you a good poke if you're not careful. Okay, so be careful with that. But this is what your decorating needle looks like. If you've never used one of these before, I'll teach you how to use them. And they're actually coming quite handy with decorating cookies. And then the last thing that's in there is a little bit of sprinkles that we're going to put on one of our cookies. Okay? Any other questions? Any questions so far? Yes.
Do we have to do exactly what you do, or can we do like a little bit different?
That's a great question. You can do whatever you want with your cookies. You don't have to follow along with me, but I made it so that the amount of frosting that we have in each of these bags will pretty much cover the decorating cookie, what we have with cookies. So if you go your own way, that's fine, but you might run out of a certain color along the way, if that's the case, okay? And then at the end of this, if you're home decorating with us right now, and when we're done, what I want you to do is go ahead and hashtag your cookies, and the hashtag is decorate with DPs. That's hashtag DECORATEWITHDPS, okay? And then just make sure and tag us. That way we can see your beautiful works of art, okay? All right. Now, first thing that we're gonna have to do is we're gonna cut our bags, okay? And before we do that, I'm gonna explain how much you wanna cut. So we're gonna move the camera over here so I can demonstrate and show you. So don't cut bags yet. There is a certain way to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna put these back.
I should also say how to handle that.
Okay, no questions yet, right? Okay, so my cookies were already sitting on my board, so it's catching all the grease. Okay, let's see. Trying to make sure we have a good view here. Okay, so with our bags and with our cookies, what we're gonna do first is we're gonna outline all of our cookies with frosting. So when we first cut our bags, you wanna cut it much smaller than what you would think, okay? So that's the tip of the bag right here. Now, how much you wanna cut off is a very little bit. You can always go back and cut off more if you have to, so less is better, okay? Because if you cut off too much, then it's gonna give you a hard time when you're decorating. So you wanna cut off just the smallest little tip. You see that? Hopefully it comes into focus. There we go, okay? So you don't need much cut off. Okay, and then what you do is you wanna make sure that your frosting is pushed down so that it's not at the tip here, okay? You wanna push it down so it sits below your hand, so when you're using it, you're gonna squish it down and then you're gonna give it a good old twist so it stays below your hand. Then you're gonna hold it in your hand like this. Okay, so go ahead and cut all the tips of your bags. I'm gonna cut those for you. Give me 1 second and I'll show you how to do this.
Sharing scissors.
Okay. Off a little bit. So this is gonna just be used for outlining. And then we'll cut off a bigger tip for when we begin to flood. But it's always good to go through and outline your cookies with the design that you want. That way, when you go to flood them, the frosting doesn't, the royal icing doesn't go everywhere. Okay. Let's see. Just a little snip, that's all you need. Can you see? Okay. All right. So now let me show you all the cookies. And what I do is I usually go through and I draw on my cookies so I know exactly how I'm going to be outlining it. And I drew on them so that if some of you guys go a little bit faster than others, you can see how the outlining is going to look. So in other words, like I drew on the pumpkin, so that's kind of how my royal icing is going to look on the pumpkin. My cupcake's the same way. This I'm going to make orange, if anyone's wondering. The orange wasn't working very well there. And then the ones that I didn't outline anything, I'm just completely filling in with white. And these are the markers that I use. I have a whole bunch of them. If you ever wanted to get any edible markers, but you can find them on Amazon. I think even King Soopers or Safeway have them. Okay, and then I outlined this, the cauldron. This one's going to be the cobweb, then the kitty. Good old Frank, aka Frankenstein. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with the plaque. Okay, so we're going to pull your plaque out. And this one's going to be pretty simple, okay? And don't forget, you want to make sure that your frosting's below your hand and then you twist. I think we have a question on here. It says, from Kim, she says, do you have a storefront in Erie? We do. We're actually opening up soon. It's right down on Cheeseman. It's 235 Cheeseman. So that's actually where we're at right now. I should give you guys another tour. It's been a while since I've showed you what the space looks like, huh? Okay, so you're just going to go through and you're just going to outline the cookie with this. Okay, and again, you're going to want it to dry a little bit, so then that way when you go to flood it, it's not going to go over the sides. So you can follow me and outline, or if you guys want, you can just go through and outline all your cookies. But hopefully my outlining is not turning out very good here. And do you see how I'm kind of guiding it with my finger? That's a little bit more advanced, but okay, and you're just going to outline it and then you're going to set it aside and we'll come back to it in a minute. Okay, so then one of the circles we're also going to outline in white. Do you see another? How's it going, guys?
Good.
Yeah? You're good. All right, any tips for kids ages 6 and 4? Yeah, I think, my kids do this not all the time, but they love to just follow along and decorate. So I would just teach them how to outline it and just go for it. Honestly, I mean, kids turn out awesome product. Okay, so we're gonna also do Frank. So what I usually do for the kiddos, I do the cutting of the bags for them and stuff, but then I just give them the stuff and just let them try it, And they turn out really awesome. Okay, that's gonna be Frank. How's everyone's cookies coming along? Now, at this point, you can see if you cut a big enough hole or not. Okay, so let me see this cookie right here. So with this cookie, I can tell that I think that it could have been cut a little bit bigger. So if it's not coming out very fast for you and it's coming out really thin like that, go ahead and cut the bag just a little bit more. Okay, here. So that was just one of the kiddos being really cautious about it. So you go ahead and cut it. Just cut a little bit more so it's gonna come out a little bit faster and easier, okay? So if the kiddos seem to not be squishing out enough frosting, just cut it a little bit bigger. Do you wanna go help her? She might need a bigger.
And the green one for Frankenstein.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna just keep on moving a little bit. I'll slow down a bit, but as we're outlining, I'm just going to, I should just put them here on the side so you can see them. Okay, so we've got this one. We've got Frankenstein, we've got the circle. And the plaque, so far we've only used one colors on our outlining. One color. Okay, and we're about to jump into more, but for now let's do the black circle next. Okay, so grab your circle, we're gonna outline it in black. Now, if you want to, you can get close to the edge, but for like younger kiddos, I wouldn't go all the way to the edge. I would go a little bit off the edge a bit, because they just, you know, sometimes it goes over still, no matter what, if you outline or not. All right, let's put that aside. And we're just gonna go through and you wanna outline all your cookies. I'm trying to get a double view here so you can see what it looks like. Nope, hi Lisa, you don't have to refrigerate your icing. It can sit at room temp. And you don't have to put it in afterwards either. But if you wanted to, you can actually freeze it and it can last forever. But it honestly can sit out for a couple weeks and be fine. The only thing that usually happens is it separates, so you can usually see that. Okay. Let's do the kitty next. I'm slowing down for a bit, just making sure everybody stays up with me. Yeah, if you want. I'm just going to show everybody's cookies.
Awesome.
And let us, I know we have a few people doing this, so. We sold 50 boxes. We stopped it at 50 because we were just trying to do it, test it out and see how it works, so. There we go, okay. So this one's gonna be the kitty. So let's grab the orange first. Kind of tricked you guys, huh?
Mm-hmm.
They want to know what the hashtag is. Can you tell them that? Sarah's asking. Okay, so we're gonna fill in the ear. Okay, so you're just gonna outline them. Go ahead, love, you can tell them.
ORATEWITHDPS.
Okay, and then, and we'll send out an email with that information when we're done with everything, with the link to the video too, if you weren't able to catch this the first go. Okay, so we're gonna just circle the eyes. We're gonna make them have green eyes, or her, it could be a girl too. Whatever you choose. And you can even, let's see, I think I'm gonna do the pupils too now. Little kitty eyes. And then when you're done with that, you're gonna outline the rest of the head with the black. Just gonna go around. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Still doing okay?
Yeah.
No questions?
No.
Oh, thanks, Tony. Okay. I think this one's gonna be cute. Just lost my edging there. So in order to get a steady hand, that's what I hold like guide it with my second hand here, like how I'm pointing at it. Looks like I'm. Okay, and then if you wanted, you could do the nose now, but I'm thinking I'm gonna wait. I'll show you how to do that later. Okay, so that's how you do the kitty. Looks like everyone's following along pretty well. Almost touched it there. Okay, next one, let's do the cauldron, okay? So we're gonna, at the top of the cauldron, we're gonna make it green, and then it's gonna be black for the bottom. So you're gonna, see how I drew in the cauldron potion stuff that they're brewing up, okay? Did you have a look at the frosting?
No.
Okay, your your lip is black. Yep. Okay, so you just go around like this, like they're little bubbles. And again, you can follow along with what I'm doing, or you can kind of just go off on your own. Whatever you decide. Okay, so there's my bubbles. How does everybody else's bubbles turn out? Nice. Robbie, nice. Okay, good. And then you're gonna take the black and you'll outline the rest of the cauldron. I clean my tips quite often when I'm doing this. Otherwise it messes up your decorating. How's it going, Andy? Anyone have questions at all? Andy, did you see?
Not right now.
Okay. All right, so this is where my wet cloth comes in hand. I got a little bit of black on my fingers because I just cleaned my tips off, so I'm just gonna wipe my hands. Okay. So I'm gonna put this guy over here. I'm putting the more difficult ones in the camera view, guys, so that you can see it. I think the other guys are self-explanatory. Okay, let's do the pumpkin next. And we'll draw a face on the pumpkin, but for now we're just gonna do the orange and green parts. You don't have to make that green part as big as I did if you don't want. I love the green parts on the tops of the pumpkins. Thanks, Dana. All right, let's see. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, how's everybody in Facebook world doing? Any questions for the decorating process yet? How are the 4-year-old and 6-year-old doing? I'm curious if everybody's handling it okay.
And please let us know about the speed also. If it's too fast, too slow.
Yeah. Okay, and then we'll have one more after this, and that's going to be our cupcake. Yes?
So what if you don't have room on your thing?
You just get a bigger piece of parchment. So just put it on the table for now, it's fine. These were all wiped off before. How's it going, ladies, over there?
Good.
Yeah? Yeah, I feel like great. Okay, let's do, the last one that we have is the cupcake. See, they get creative, those 6-year-olds and 4-year-olds. Someone made a Pokeball. It's okay if yours aren't pretty. You know how many cookies I've decorated? It takes lots of practice, and they take a long time. All right. So this is the cupcake. I'm going to put the top, I'm going to make that one orange. I can't wait for these to come out. They're going to look awesome and so cute. So usually when I decorate cookies, I bake them, and then I let them sit for about a day. Because what happens is you kind of let the butter settle. Otherwise, if you decorate them right away, the oil just goes right from the butter, just goes right into the royal icing frosting, and then you get like oil spots on your cookies, and it's not pretty. So you kind of give it a day, and then you start decorating them. And I let these guys dry for a good 24 hours usually. We're not going to do that today because I'm going to show you just how to decorate them without having to wait. But usually I let mine dry for about 24 hours, and then I add the final decorations on. It takes me a good 3 to 4 days when I make cookies. Kim, yes, it's royal icing. Okay. Okay, so the first one we're gonna probably fill in is gonna be the plaque. So go ahead and pull that one over. We're gonna just fill it in. And then at this point, you may want to cut your bags a little bit bigger. Oh, I can't steal it from you? Okay, so remember we cut the really little tiny tip here? Okay, you're going to want to cut it just a little bit bigger for when you're flooding. Because you don't, so when you start to flood and you have the small tip, you're not going to have much that comes out. See that? Okay, it's going to take you forever to fill in the cookie. So what you want to do is you're going to go through, just going to cut it, and you're going to cut the tip just a little bit bigger. Is it focusing?
Not really. Maybe bring it closer to the table. There you go, that's better.
Okay, so I just cut a little bit more off. Now, if you wanted, you can cut even a little bit more off. It just depends on your decorating preference, okay? So, I'm gonna show you how it looks when you cut off the right amount, okay? So it should look something like that. And you could, I mean, as you can tell, you still don't have a ton coming out, but it just helps guide you. That way, you can fill it up just a little bit faster without over flooding it or taking forever. Okay, so now you take your needle. This is where your needle comes in handy. And see there's little holes here? Okay, so you wanna go through and you're gonna just, I hold it like at a 45-degree angle. I mean, whatever works for you guys. Just go through and fill in those little gaps that are in there, okay? And then what you're gonna do is the trick to make it smooth, okay? So see that how it's still kind of just sitting there, it's not falling down? You take your cookie, and this is another reason why you don't wanna go all the way to the edge, but you shake it like this. And then you can even tap it a little bit, but eventually the frosting falls down and it smooths out, okay? So you might have to shake it a little bit longer than others. I made our frosting a little bit thicker, just so that it didn't fall over the edges as easily for you guys. So you might have to shake them a little bit. Okay, and then you can even go back, for those of you that care and want really smooth cookies, you can just go back and hit the bubbles, and usually they fall right in, and then it looks pretty. Okay? And then you just let it sit there and it'll start drying. So the reason why I did this one first is because I'm gonna write on there Happy Halloween, or we're gonna write trick or treat, okay? But I'll show you at the end how we do that. This is gonna be the last one that we finish up.
Come ahead and show the kids are doing it. While everyone gets their bags cut and the flooding done.
Yeah.
Nice job, Robbie. And we have Wesley. Filling all those holes there.
And you can always go back and add a little bit more frosting in if you wanted, if you didn't get it filled in enough.
And Leah. There Wesley's going for the shade.
Nice work. And I like kids to be just independent, kind of give it a go and just try it, you know? And you'd be surprised at how well they do. Okay, the next one
Let's give it a second. Down here.
we're going to do, so if you're caught up with me and you're just kind of ready to move on, you can also fill the white one, okay? So if you're ready to do something and the kids are getting anxious, you can start that one. Nice work. Yeah, the shake is one of those secrets that not many people know about. So usually I shake it this way, but when you tap it like this, I notice that bubbles like to come up. So usually I just try to do the shake. If the shake doesn't work, then I do the tap. But that's my last resort. Okay.
Nice job.
So this would be the mummy, and he's gonna be so cute. I'm just gonna fill all the way in. Wesley, you have a question?
Yep.
What's up?
So what if your tip?
See how I went back and I filled it in a little?
So what if your tip gets all cracky and all the icing is stuck on it?
Oh. So he's asking, so his is a little bit dirty. So I clean that quite often. Before I stick my needle into new cookie, you definitely just want to clean it off a little with your wet paper towel or damp. Which there's mine. Okay. Just fill in the gaps. And see, I left a little edge here. So one, the kids can grab it and shake it if they needed to, and it doesn't overflow. Okay? And then again, you can just go back with your needle and touch any spots that seem to just be sticking up. How's that shake treating you guys?
Pretty good.
So you might, that's okay. The spillover is going to happen. It is inevitable. You know, there's some things that will just happen when you put on too much, but that's okay. If it's going over the side, okay, so this one's kind of going over the side, you can take your little needle and you just scrape it off like this. And you just grab it and then it comes right off and then it looks smooth again. Okay? So that's another use for the needle, is just cleaning off that cookie. Let me see, I have another spot over here that's bothering me. You just barely touch those spots and they fall right down. Okay? All right. I think we're ready for the next one. Let's do Frank. Let's grab the green one. We're gonna fill him in. All right, you can start filling that in. You probably want to cut the bag a little bit bigger because we haven't cut that one yet. I know I haven't. So yeah, usually when I'm decorating cookies, I don't use piping tips. I just use the bags. It depends though, if it's like for a flower or something, I definitely need the tips, but usually you don't need tips. What's up? Okay. Go through, just pull down the frosting, twist the bag a little.
Can you touch a green marker?
I did. Okay, clean tip. I cleaned it up last time, so it's good to go. But that way when you're sticking your tip into like the green, it's not gonna have the white on there still and then ruin the green. A lot of the times it's mainly when you're putting it into the white, because it just adds color to it. You don't want color, especially in mummy. Mummy doesn't have color on it. Okay. Depends on the mummy, I guess, right? Yeah. Okay. I did not share my icing recipe, Kim. It's just a basic royal icing recipe that you can find online. You can just Google it, and there's a lot of good recipes out there. Maybe down the road, though, I should just make it with you. What did Brandy say? There, I got it. Oh. I can't see. Oh, that's funny, Brandy. I thought you were saying something to me. Like that you couldn't hear me, but I got it now. Okay, the next one that we want to do, let's do the cauldron, because it's probably one of the easier ones too. We're just gonna I'm gonna fill in my green. And I just go around the sides and just fill it in. Okay, so you fill it in, you're gonna shake it. Take your needle if there's any spots that need some help. And then what you wanna do, you wanna grab your whites, okay? And you're gonna add in something yummy to the cauldron. Well, I don't know if it's yummy to us, but the witches probably love it. We're gonna add some eyeballs. And you just put it right into the frosting and just squeeze, and usually a little round circle pops up. And that is going to be an eyeball. All right, and then you can also take the black and add in the pupils. Nice old witch's brew. And then actually what you're gonna do is fill in the black. Aren't those cool eyeballs? But you guys weren't expecting eyeballs in the witch's cauldron. Were you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I surprised you? Can you guys hand me the scissors? Would you mind? Okay. Thank you. I haven't cut my black yet, so it's not coming out very fast. They're much better. Okay, so when I go around the green, you just don't want to fill in too much there. So tell us, who's decorating with us now? Let us know. I know that I've got a few people out there decorating along with us, so. And how old are you? How old are the kids decorating? How are they doing? Okay. So see how we just have to smooth that one out. Our black is a little thicker, but that's okay. I like it thick because then it's not gonna run everywhere and make it messy for you guys. You just a little more TLC when you're filling in the cookie then though. Okay, and then you're gonna give it a good old shake and it should smooth out. What was there oops from?
Oh, my eyeball is running out.
That's okay. In the end, they're gonna dry and they're all gonna taste the same. Oh, so we've got Aiden, Kendall, Witten, and Weston. How are they doing, Tony? Are you decorating too, or did you already eat yours? All right, and there's the cauldron. How cute is that? I'll give everyone a few minutes on that because I know that one's a little more difficult. Okay, so now we've done a lot of, well, I guess the pumpkin we can maybe do too. So we'll probably do the pumpkin next for those of you that are anticipating to move on. Yeah.
Scissors.
Oh, scissors. Now, when you put the black on and if they're like sticking up, you can also poke them so they fall down a little. So we've got Danica has, is it Maris, age 10, and then Paisley, age 7. And then Sarah has Aiden, who's 16, Olivia, 11, and then Mom and Dad. That's awesome. Is that how I say it, Danica? Is it Maris? I'm gonna set this right here. I'll take it because I'm gonna need the scissors. I know I haven't cut my, I think I cut all. I haven't cut my orange yet. Oh. Anyone else watching the Broncos game right now? I know we're not.
What if you start running
It should be good. You shouldn't, that's probably enough. You want to just, because we only have a little bit more orange left. That's it. Oh, perfect. Awesome. Maris. Very pretty. Okay, we're going to do the pumpkin next. I know some of you are probably still finishing up on the cauldron, and that's okay. I'm going to do it so that the pumpkin's middle isn't filled in yet, and then I'll fill it in just so it looks like there's a little bit of texture on there. And then I'll fill in the green, and then I'll go back and fill in the middle part. The little holes are not filling up here. Okay. And it's nice when you have a cookie that you can just shake it from the middle instead of the edges and mess them up. And then we're going to put the green on top. Okay, again, you want to twist your bag so that it's going to stay below your hand. Twist it and then you hold it right there. Okay. And then again, you want to clean off your tip because we were just in the orange. Just want it to be clean. All right, Facebook, any questions? Or am I going too fast or too slow for you? Just let me know. I haven't heard any complaints yet, so I'm just going to keep moving the way I'm moving then, unless someone says slow down. How are your kiddos doing?
Pretty good.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. Clean off your tip. You don't want that green hanging out on there. And the longer you let it sit there, the harder it gets. So when you're doing that, and say you do have a needle that dries and you're like, I can't get this off, it's such a pain, right? You can soak it in water. I don't like soaking my needles in water for too long because, I don't know, I'm just afraid that they might start rusting. So what I do is I'll take a pair of scissors, and this is for like mom or dad to do, but you can always scrape it off with your scissors like this. And just knock those hard pieces off, okay? Hi, Desiree. Did Desiree pick up her boxes? I think I still have your boxes. Come by anytime, you can get them. Okay, and then I'm gonna fill in that middle. I just kind of let it sit for a few minutes just so that it dries a little bit. Oh, she did.
Last night.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did you see her?
I did.
You saw her?
I did.
Oh, I didn't get to see you. Hi, I missed you. I wanted to say hi. Okay. All right. What is everyone dressing up as Halloween? Desiree, do you have a cute family Halloween costume going on this year? Oh, you have a question?
Yes, I've been wondering, what are we using the sprinkles for?
Well, the sprinkles will come. We're going to put them on the cupcake. Good question. If you want to use them now, you can. But I think a lot of people like to wait. Okay, so you're going to shake that, make sure that. All right. And there's a couple dots, so I like to just touch those so they go away. Oh, how fun, Desiree, this. Oh, that's right, I saw the Stranger Things yesterday on Instagram, I think. There's a little hole right here, I have to fix that. Right there. So every year we do family costumes, And this year, we're doing Beauty and the Beast. So I'm excited for that. All right, let's see. The next one that we're gonna do, let's go ahead and fill in the kitty. We'll get that guy going. Let's fill in the ears first, and then we're gonna fill in the eyes. Woohoo, yeah, just let me know, Des, because we have the busy time is coming up. So if you guys wanna order cakes, you gotta make sure and get those in soon, especially if it's during the holidays. All right, so we're gonna fill in those ears. Then we'll fill in the green as well. I know a couple of people are still maybe finishing up pumpkins. That's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go through with my needle, make sure everything looks good on here, especially with these eyeballs. I like to pull in, if there's any sharp corners there, that's tough to get frosting in just by, squirting it in. You just take that needle and you just drag it through. So you fill in those holes. Okay, and then you just give it a good shake. All right, so around my ears, it's a little tight. So if you don't feel like putting your bag in there because it's, gonna get messy, you don't have to. You could just put a little bit of frosting here and then kind of drag it up. I'll show you how to do it here in a second. I'm just gonna put extra. And then it takes a little bit longer than just squirting it in there. But if you're being particular, I'm not sure. I know we have a mix of adults and kids doing this, but you can drag that frosting just through like this. Just kind of keep pulling it over. Just drag it all the way through the ear. Okay, so you can do that method if you're trying to be careful, or you can just go through, put some frosting in. You can fill in over the nose. I drew that so I remembered what my kitty's gonna look like. That's fine. I'm gonna draw the nose on later. Okay. I'm gonna go through and just fill them in. Can they see left? Oh, I think my ear was hidden, but that's okay. Are you guys still doing a good job over there?
Yep, pretty good.
You're so quiet. I know, I warned you, huh?
Bunch of hard workers over here.
Okay, and then even so I don't get that close to the eyeballs, because I don't want to accidentally cover the green with the black. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to just finagle that frosting up there. I'm going to just take this, I'm going to turn it around here. Usually whenever I decorate cookies, I don't just leave them here. I move them away so I don't accidentally touch them. Okay, so you just fill in those holes, good by the eyes, middle of the eyes. See, this decorating needle comes in so handy. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give it a good shake. Look how cute. And the orange ears. You can even make an orange little nose if you want. Okay, I'm gonna fill in the eyeballs. One thing I didn't do there is I didn't clean off my tip. It's kind of messy. Okay, just go ahead and just finagle it around so it ends up looking the way you want it to look. Jeremy, what's the score to the Broncos game? All right, my eyes are not working out the way I like here, but it'll be fine. Okay? Then I'm also gonna add in little whites on his eyes, because I think he'll be cute with them. Put one little white right here, one right here. And I think I might draw in a little nose just because it's still wet. Here we go. And then take our needle, fix it up wherever it needs some fixes. All right, show me your cookies, kiddos. Everyone's caught up, huh? They look great. Okay, I think that kitty's gonna be adorable. All right, next up, let's do the black one, the black circle. Okay, I'm gonna put this guy here so people can see it. Okay, all right, this is where we're gonna kind of do wet on wet, and that's when you have wet royal icing, and wet means it's runnier than if it's like a stiffer one, so you can write on top of it. But when it's wet on wet, you can just draw right on top of each other, just like I did the cat's nose. But we're gonna do a fun little technique here. So if you wanna just follow or watch for a second, and then you can start yours, okay? So I'm gonna flood it with the black. Fill it all the way in. Oh, more down here too, I think. Get all those holes filled. Okay, give it a good old shake. Touch the side there. Okay, I'm just gonna go over it and then just kind of clean it up like that. Nobody even would know, right? Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do, you're gonna clean your tip, make sure it's all cleaned off, and then you're gonna draw, it's like an upside down rainbow, okay? And this is what I mean by that. Or if you feel better about drawing rainbows, that's fine, you just do it upside down. Okay, so you're gonna just draw. With the white, you're gonna just draw a couple lines here. One, and you could do as many or as few as you want. And this is gonna be a spider's web, okay? All right, and now you're gonna take your needle that you have, make sure it's cleaned off, and you're gonna just drag it through the icing. You're gonna pull it through. So that it kind of looks like, it does look like a spider web. And you want to do this part pretty quickly because the longer you let that sit, that royal icing starts drying like almost instantly. Okay? Isn't that fun? You can even put one right up there. The very top if you wanted. For now, I might have actually added one more. I'm gonna add in one more. I don't think that was enough. And you can tell it's kind of sitting on top now instead of falling into the frosting because it is drying quite a bit. I'm gonna give it a little shake so it kind of falls in a little. Everyone's shaking at the same time. All right, make sure your needle's clean. Just pull it through again. And there you go. How cool is that? Isn't that fun? And what we'll do is we'll dry on a spider here in a bit. I'm just gonna let it dry for a little. And then I'm gonna draw a spider on the top. Okay? I don't know what color he's gonna be yet. Maybe green. Okay, so we'll put him on the side. And I'm gonna leave that here so you can see it. Let's put this guy here. Where's everybody at? We're still on this. We're all on the spiders?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's on spec.
All right, the cupcake, my favorite. Okay, this is where you're going to want to have your sprinkles out and ready. Okay. So everybody should have a little cup of sprinkles. Just make sure it's set aside here. We're going to use it for this one. And then we're going to fill in the bottom with green. And at this point, you can do whatever color you want. I know we outlined them already, but if you wanted to do a different color, you could. You don't have to use the green. But we filled all the rest of our cookies, so if you have another color that you want, that's fine. Okay, fill in all those holes. The green's a little thick too. Okay, give it a good shake. And if you want, you can draw some lines on your cupcake wrapper. You can draw your traditional, vertical lines on the wrapper, or you can get creative with it if you wanted. I'm just going to draw some black lines on there because it looks like a, oh, that one messed up. And again, you're going to want to give it a good old shake. I'm going to try upside down so it's easier. And have that black fall in. Okay, that's going to be the bottom. That's right. Yep, exactly. I was thinking about that too. You can drag the needle through too if you wanted and do that cobweb look again. Kendall, I love making cookies too. Did you see my finger cookies that I made? Those are pretty cool. All right, and now the top I'm going to fill it in with orange. What sprinkles do we have here? Yeah. So everyone got sprinkles, and I put different sprinkles in everybody's, not different, I think I used 3 different types. So your sprinkles may not look like this. I think I had black and white balls that look like this. And then I had one other one that I think I used. So, all right. So we're going to fill this in on top. And there's not a lot of orange left, so just fill it in, and then we're going to just spread it around, or if we have to. But this should fill the cookie. Okay, push down the frosting, give it a good twist. Squeeze it. Again, don't forget to hashtag your cookies at the end of this. Tony, can you tell us what it is again? That way we can all see the pictures.
Decorate with DPs.
Hashtag decorate with DPs. All right, we're gonna fill in all the holes. Real icing gets onto everything, so that it's messy, so just, even gets on my sleeves, gets all over. Tip on the back of my nail here. There we go. Okay. I still don't know what the score to the Broncos game is. All right, give it a good shake. Now I want to use sprinkles, but I also want to do one thing here. Same thing that we did with the cobweb cookie, but I'm going to use black this time. Clean off your needle. I bet everyone loves eating the cookies if they have the patience to wait, usually overnight, and then they dry and they, you know, like your typical. Oh, awesome! Thanks, Cheryl. That's a bummer though. Let them dry overnight and then they harden and they taste really good. They're good too when they're not all the way dry, but if she had the patience. If not, just eat them now. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a couple lines, or not now, but you know, when you're done, whatever. Clean off your tip. Tell Olivia hi. Okay, or hi Olivia, I'm sure you're watching. Okay, we're gonna drag it through, but I'm gonna drag it through a little differently. So we're gonna drag it down and you're gonna kind of curl with it. See how I did that? Look how cute that is. Okay, and then you're gonna drag it through. I'll go a little bit lower this time. I saw this one on Instagram. I thought it was just adorable how they dragged it through the cobwebs like that. Okay, and then you can add some. Nice work. Okay, and then you can grab some sprinkles and put some sprinkles on your cupcake. Yeah, I don't see many kids really waiting to eat these, but I'm just gonna put them along the edge here. This one has like little leaves in it. They're so cute. And just like that. I probably didn't even need to add sprinkles to this one, but. And then you can add sprinkles to other ones if you want. Okay, let's go back to Frank. I think Frank needs some love. Has my picture on it. Okay, so we're gonna grab Frank. Good old Frank. Now this has been sitting there for a little while, so so if you touch it, and I'm gonna just show you this as an example, but if you touch it up here, it will fall in. See that? See how easy it was? Okay, it's still really soft. So be careful touching it if anyone's doing the Frank and they wanna be careful. It will take a while to dry. Okay, let's see. I have a picture of Frank right here. Kiddos, any questions? Everyone's doing okay?
Yeah.
Am I going too fast or too slow?
Just right. Just right.
Just right? Gosh.
Is it
love
taking a bite yet?
We've already.
No, mine cracked in half. My cupcake cracked in half.
Did it? Yeah, that will happen. Those cookies are fragile. Okay, so we're gonna start with Frank's hairline. So you're gonna bring this down and you're gonna just curl back up. Just cover that little spot I showed you. What is that noise? Okay, I'm gonna do that. And then we're gonna draw a little eyeball right here. A little eyeball right here. I'm thinking I want a little nose. This is the hard part right now. So you can, if you want, you can put a little bit of royal icing on the side and you can even draw on with your needle, kind of like painting it on. Oh, bummer, Kim. They're not doing so hot. And then we're gonna draw a little smile right here. Okay, and then we know Frank's had some surgery, so we're gonna draw a scar here. Might draw a little scar here. And then you can take your tip, make sure it's cleaned off. We're not filling in the hair quite yet, I'm just letting it dry for a minute, but you can pull it out so it looks like he has stitches. I mean, you could draw it on with the royal icing, but it's gonna be quite thick, you know? So it's easier if you just draw it on there with this. Again, be careful, try not to poke your cookie. And it will happen, but. Same thing here, you can just pull out. Let's draw some stitches. My husband had to have some stitches last week. He actually was helping with the bakery. We were cleaning it up and doing things, and he had an accident and he had to get stitches. It was pretty bad. He's doing fine now, if anyone's curious.
And the awesome doctor came in.
Oh yeah, that's right. His doctor came in and got some cookies to decorate with us. Okay, and then you want to draw a couple pupils on Frank. He looks weird. You could just leave him black if you wanted to have that dark look. Okay.
I don't think he's dark.
All right, and then we're gonna fill in his hair. There should be plenty of black here. When you draw on top of the royal icing like this, it takes longer to dry. So I would wait a good 24 hours, but I mean, that's if anyone really cares to wait. Yes, exactly. You don't have to. Okay, and there's our cute little Frank. You know what? I don't know if I like that nose.
I like my nose.
Do you? Just gonna put a little dot of green on top. I kind of like that nose better.
Mine, I just put on.
Look how cute he is. All right. So I know I just switched it up on you. So look, there's Frank. Okay, the next one. What should we do next? You want to do the mummy?
Yeah, mummy.
All right, we have votes for the mummy. Move these guys over.
Or should we do the other one? 'Cause we've been waiting on this
Which one?
This one.
No, we're wait for last. We're gonna do that one last. Okay, we're gonna do the mummy. All right, so the mummy's gonna be pretty simple, but we're gonna draw lots of lines on there. So we wanna grab the white. Let me pull up what I have in mind for that. Is that one's yours? I keep trying to steal your frosting. If anyone's ever decorated with me, like in a class or, you know, whenever, even my employees, Darren and Dee, I always steal things from them. So yeah, it happens. I always steal the bags of decorating and whatnot. Okay, we're gonna draw on the eyes first, okay? We're gonna have green eyes. Well, or you can have orange eyes, whatever you prefer. Just gonna do a little green in the middle. What's your turn?
Could you borrow a little bit?
Yeah, you can borrow my green. You should have enough of green in there, but that's okay. It's okay if you don't. Okay, so I'm gonna let those dry before I fill them in, and then you're gonna just draw little lines like this. Just all the way across. And we're just gonna fill them up so it looks like a mummy, like he's wrapped all up. And just bring it from one side to the other. There's no rhyme or reason. You just give him some strips. I think he needs more up here. I like connecting him with my lines, so you don't have to do that. Another one right here. Okay.
Mine is looking across.
There's your mummy. Your eyes have probably sat there. The green has probably sat there long enough, so you can actually just fill it in a little with the black. Okay. Then again, you're gonna add little whites on his eyes like we did with the cat. I'm gonna put a little dot right here, and then a small little dot on top. And then there. Make sure you have a clean needle. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna poke it down because we don't want it to look like he has horns coming out of his eyeballs. Or you do, I don't know. Anyways, and there's your mummy.
Oh my gosh, my mummy's so funny.
Danica asks, how are yours so perfect? I'm not sure. You know, I've had lots of practice, honestly.
She has me very
Lots of practice.
I can't wait to see hers.
I'm sure yours look better than what you think. Okay. All right, let's finish the pumpkin. So we'll grab the pumpkin. What's the pumpkin missing?
Face.
Should we do a face on the pumpkin? Okay, let's do a face on the pumpkin. So you can do whatever face you want on the pumpkin. Margot says Danay is like a surgeon. I always say Danay is like a surgeon. It is like doing surgical work, and it's very precise, and I'm very careful. Okay, so I'm gonna draw just a traditional pumpkin face, and I'm gonna just kind of outline it, and then you're gonna go back and you're gonna fill it in, okay? So there's his eyes. And I'm gonna just draw a little mouth. I don't think I have room for a nose. Okay, there's a little pumpkin. I'm gonna let him dry for a second. We'll go fill in those eyeballs. While I'm letting that dry, I'm gonna draw the kitty's face on. He needs a little mouth. You don't have to do mouth if you don't want to.
Okay.
I'm just gonna fill this in like this.
First, second.
Okay, and then give him a little whiskers. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, just 3 little dots. I think that kitty's so cute. I love the orange ears. We've got a mustache pumpkin. Ooh, I like it.
Mine is the original, but it's not exactly.
It's
Very cute. Now, make sure before anyone eats their cookies, you take pictures. I really want to see how everybody does, okay?
This is how mine is.
All right, and then we're going to do the cobweb. We're going to add on the spider. Okay? Again, they still are very soft, and you can accidentally poke them if you're not careful. Okay, so we're going to draw on the spider on the cobweb. I'm going to make mine green. Although I like orange on it, but we'll do green. We're going to just fill it in, and you can either just hold it here, and it usually just makes a circle for you. You can do a little head. Okay, now what I'm going to do it with this guy, I'm going to add on a back. I'm gonna add like a black widow type spider. Just gonna put a little spot in there. Just like that. And then draw on some legs. I'll use my green. So you can draw on your legs, or again, you can take your needle if you wanted and just pull them out like this. I don't know if it's gonna work. Let's see. I'm afraid I'm gonna touch it, so actually I'm gonna just draw it on. So you can draw it out, like pull it out with your needle, or you can just draw them on. Like this. How many legs does the spider have?
8.
Just making sure you guys you knew. I've got a fat spider.
One is kind of down into the cookie.
Just be careful because that frosting will break.
Right now, I accidentally put it down there, and then did it like all the frosting started curling up.
Yep, that's why you gotta be very careful on this
My
one.
spider has 5 legs.
5.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's a mutant spider.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm gonna actually give him some eyeballs. Oh no, I ruined it. That's okay, it happened. That's why you have to be careful. All right, that shows you what not to do. I'm gonna put on little eyeballs.
My spider
On this guy.
looks like its whole entire body is connected.
And you can control the amount of frosting by picking it up like that.
I just put
I'm
my
gonna
finger
fix
in
this
it.
just a little.
You like
Mine has a leash.
Has what on it?
Mine has a collar.
So this is how you can patch up a spot if you mess it up. Just kind of fill it in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of black, and I'm going to give them little eyeballs, pupils. Just the smallest little pupil. My favorite kind of detail work is the really tiny stuff. It's my favorite. So, yeah, he's got little eyes, okay? And then by the time it dries and goes together. Oh, I have another question. Yes, sir.
So, in my eyes,
Oh, my little spider's funny.
my black is like so big, and it's like we'll take it off. So I touched it and then tapped it onto the spider. Would that be okay?
That's fine. Yeah, totally fine. So I'm gonna have him give him a little cobweb. It's got a little kink in it too. There you go. My little eyes are falling in too. I could have let it dry for a minute and then stuck them on there, but. All right, how's the spiders?
Pretty good. Interesting.
Interesting. Okay, let's fill in the pumpkin eyes. I think he's ready.
I already filled them.
If you haven't filled them in yet.
My pumpkin eyes are closed.
They are closed. You
My
don't.
pumpkin eyes are open.
Just gonna fill it in real quick.
Yeah, hers is close too.
And then we're gonna finish off by doing the
It's like a Chinese.
black cookie.
Just with a white black mustache.
Okay, and just give it a good shake. Let it all fall in.
My favorite one is out of yours.
And it'll dry fine. There we go. All right, let's do this guy.
Is this the last cookie?
This is the last one. Okay, I'm thinking we could do polka dots around the side. What do you think?
Sure.
Polka dots? I'm gonna do polka dots because I have orange and green left. Nope. I have orange and green left. Who's trying to steal my orange now? All right, and we're gonna do little polka dots around the edge. Okay? You're just gonna do a dot. You're gonna leave some space so that we're gonna be able to fill it in with the orange here in a minute, okay? Sometimes you get air bubbles in there, so you just gotta push that frosting down. Make sure it's not gonna go up, because it messes you up if it does. So I've had a lot of people ask me about Christmas cookies and even Thanksgiving cookies. I'm gonna have all that set up by November 2nd. So if anyone wants to order those, we're also gonna do the cookie decorating together like this for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. So, and probably continue it after that and do it around holidays.
My orange is dead.
Or like a specific theme a month is what I'm thinking. All right. So there's those. I might want to let those dry for a minute, but then what you're going to do is you're going to write on here, Happy Halloween, or you can write Trick or Treat. Something along those lines. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to let those dry just for a minute. I'm gonna let those dry for a minute, and then that way, if you put the orange on right now, they're just gonna run together, and then they won't look like cute little balls. So you can even take some of your sprinkle, just outline it, and then sprinkle the edges if you wanted, which I think that would be cute too. I love to do sprinkles. I actually should have put some on there when it was wet. Okay. Now when you're doing the writing part, you want, usually, all right, let me just show you. We're gonna do Happy Halloween. The trick is making sure you have enough space, right? So we're gonna write, now try your best. I know all the bags were cut large. Okay? So it may not look this pretty.
That's what mine says, Happy Halloween.
And if you had the food markers, you can just write it on there. Okay, we're gonna say happy.
Mine says Happy Halloween.
Oh.
2 L's, 2 E's.
Yeah, I need help with this. H, I'm gonna do lowercase, I think. A. I always double check and triple check my spelling before I do anything. No matter how, birthday, I can't tell you, I always have to look it up just to make sure. I'm so paranoid about writing something wrong. 2 L's, right?
Yep. And 2 E's.
I'm gonna eat that one, that
Okay, spacing doesn't always work out this perfect, but that was like the perfect amount. Okay, and then I'm just gonna do this just to kind of fill in space. If you want, you can add sprinkles to that too. Okay, and then go back and just fill them in. We haven't done that already. They're still kind of wet, so if you wanted to wait even a few more minutes, that's okay.
And you can't even see it.
All right. Oh, I did. I messed up there. Okay. No one probably would have noticed. There. Got a little fuzz here that's bothering me, and I'm afraid I'm going to poke my icing, but I have to get it off there. Okay. Happy Halloween. All right, let me show you how they all turned out. I don't think I missed anything. And you can go back and add some more details if you wanted, like to the cauldron one. If you wanted to add some more bubbles to it, you could. Just add a few bubbles on top like this, and that looks really bubbly. What I would do too is I would let those dry a little, and you can even add some eyeballs like that, and then draw them on. But I would let dry and then add a couple more bubbles. All right, let's see how everybody did.
Let's actually have everyone do a showing today.
Showing? Ooh, I like it.
Let's have everyone do a showing. Put the camera back here.
Here,
Back
are you
it
done
up.
with us? Just go put them in the box.
Back the camera up a little bit.
Put that right there, okay?
All right. Let's have everyone.
Oh, I like the drips down the side. That's a good idea, Robbie.
Hold on, before I start putting your cookies away, let's have everyone show us the cat. Let's start with the cat. Let's have everyone hold up your cat. Let's see what you did. Show the camera. And we want to see everyone's cats.
The cats?
And everyone's cookies with decorate at with hashtag decorate with DPs. Those look great. All right, let's see Frankenstein. Look at those. Brooklyn, let's see it. There, very nice. Then, why don't everyone hold up your favorite one that you did?
Favorite one?
The favorite one.
I like this one.
The cauldron, but mine's so wet.
Cauldron, the mummy.
It's the mustache.
Oh, the mustache pumpkin.
Definitely.
Now, before we finish,
He's so cute.
We all need to take one bite of our favorite cookie.
I'm not doing these.
I can't do this. He's so cute.
If you want to take a bite, I know Brooklyn, you've been waiting. Go ahead and take a big old bite of your favorite one. Oh, there it is.
All that hard work, it's worth it. Paid up, that's right.
One more time, hashtag decorate with DPs. We want to see your creations.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. If you have any questions or anything, just shoot them over to me and I'll get them answered for you. But thanks for joining and happy Halloween.